Home again. Khaled al-Juja fled war-torn Syria with his wife and 3 children 5 years ago. After crossing into Lebanon, they spent 4 years in limbo as they waited to get refugee status. The family finally made it to New Zealand last year and settled in the Hutt Valley, where Khaled established a market garden in the backyard of his state house. A pretty intensive one at that. He had over 2,000 vegetable plants and flowers. The food he grew helped feed hungry local families, and his dream was to start a potting nursery. Things were going beautifully until yesterday morning. Julia Milne from the Common Unity Project, a local charity, picks up Khaled's story.
So he has a Housing New Zealand house, and it's probably about 1/8 of an acre, and every single part of it is now in garden and food production. And he built himself, with the support of the community, a great big greenhouse, which he has been propagating plants in for about the last year. So his whole property is kind of filled up with thousands of bedding plants, and he had just launched his little business a few weeks ago with the support of the community. This is us as a charity have been supporting him with this, but also being the conduit for so many people who just wanted to give him the resources that he needed to get going. And a lot of it is really...
Can you describe, so had you been to the garden? Obviously you had.
Yes.
And can you describe it? What was it like?
It's like nothing I've ever seen before. I've never seen such intensive production go on in someone's backyard.
Yes, it sounds absolutely beautiful. And what was, and he was, and so he was growing some, vegetables, so some greens, for want of a better term, and these were going to local community sort of projects to feed the hungry, right?
Oh, 2 facets to what he's been doing. Part of it is, yes, he works for us, and we task him with growing as much food across Lower Hutt through our Urban Kai project to feed back into the community via meals. So that's a prodigious thing in itself. But the other part was that he wanted to be self-employed and have a little bedding business that he could grow predominantly flowers and trees. Khaled loves Syrian flowers, particularly roses, of course.
So far, so wonderful, this story. I mean, my eyes are sparkling as I try to imagine what Khaled's garden looks like. But, and this is where things just become awful, what happened?
So we don't really know, John. He went out yesterday morning with his family, came back a couple of hours later, and his greenhouse had just been completely decimated. Not the outside structure of it, but just all of his plants, carnage. And he had 2,000 plants in there, and he's managed to save 250. The rest are gone.
So some word that I can't even say on national radio has... So this is deliberate, isn't it? So someone has come in and done absolutely willful vandalism. And do you think he was targeted as a refugee?
Well, I had a chat to him about that this morning, and that's, I think, if there's the greatest sadness for me personally, it's that he is now feeling that it is a deliberate act against him personally, and he was questioning for the first time I've ever really heard him question it. Is this because I am Syrian, and is this because I'm starting to do well here, and people may resent me for that.
Right, so he made this beautiful garden that you have described as the most intensive backyard garden you've ever seen. Someone has come in and vandalised it, which is a terrible situation, but in the emotional roller coaster ride that is this narrative, the community is going to respond on Saturday, right?
The community has just gone nuts for him and his family, and so we had a lot of people requesting that we put up a Give a Little page, but what we thought would be more of a community building response would be to have an event where we invite the community to just come and pot up some new plants, to bring some potting mix along, some pots. Khaled would especially love to have any cuttings from people's gardens, particularly special roses. He would love to just meet all of the people that have really pouring their hearts out to him and his family. And we just thought, actually, there's a special chance to really do something good as a community and build something together that actually helps the family a little bit. The family, obviously, they've had such an amazing experience integrating into New Zealand and have been so blown away by the love wrapped around them. So it was quite a thing for them yesterday to come home and
Right, for everyone in the Wellington region who's listening, and I'm delighted to report there will be lots of those people. What time and what address?
Okay, so they can come to, we have a community enterprise hub and we're at 310 Waifetu Road. It's called the Remakery, and Khaled will be there from 10 o'clock.
That's Julia Milne. So just to give you a reminder of that address, 310 Waifetu Road, Lower Hutt, from 10 on Saturday morning if you want to take part in rebuilding Khaled's gardens.